What is up, guys? OddEYES Lumia here, and I just gotta tell you, we are getting so close to that 500 sub giveaway that I upped the ante a bit. So not only will you receive those Pulsemon sleeves, chance at the Agumon Gabumon sleeves, chance at the Machinedramon Machine Supremacy sleeves. I got my hands on this beautiful stack right here in the giveaway as well. That means instead of 3 winners, we will have 4 winners. So once again, guys, share my videos, get my name out there. I appreciate everyone who watches my channel and supports my content and enjoys my content. These sleeves are sick. 500 sub giveaway. Tell your friends, share, subscribe. What is up, guys? OddEYES Lumia here today, and I have a sweet little deck feature for your viewing pleasure. We are going over my Black Royal Knights deck profile that I piloted on Friday in our feature match. Eggs we use is Capurimon. We use the blocker Capurimon because a majority of our top end is blocker and or will gain blocker from inheritable effects throughout the deck. So it's just the better version in this build. We don't really care about the reboot as much as we care about the blocker, so that's why we run this one. For reboot toei Agumon, just to give reboot to our top end. It's nice to being able to swing when we're blocker and then unsuspend and just make it harder for our opponent to actually close out game. Then 4 of the blocker inheritable plus 1000 DP with toei Agumon. Once again, all our top end is pretty much going to be blocker, so it's just nice to have that extra 1000 DP, and this is all turns, therefore it makes your Craniamon and your Mechanorimons a lot bigger than your other blockers. We run 3 Chikurimon. Security at the end of battle, trigger, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. This is really good against a lot of the bond matchups, because they'll swing the one time, and then you de-digivolve it, and then it's only the one dude and has a better chance of killing it. Also, it makes it so your blue bond opponent has to only gets the one swing if they hit this. You know, see Edamon's foot stepping on the spike. It doesn't look like it's going to be a good time. It's never a good time when this card is hitting security, unless it's the last card in security, and then, you know, you have Braxton's luck. Shout out to Braxton, by the way, for kind of a better look at this profile. I integrated a lot of the things that he had in his deck profile and made it my own. We run 1 Chumon. Your opponent can't gain memory except for Retainer effects. A lot of memory effects, memory boosts, and just Digimon gaining inheritable memory effects. A clutch card in a lot of decks. If you can run a memory negator, run one. And then 4 Nanimon, 3 cost security, so you can play this from your security at the end of battle, for level 4. So 4 of him. He is technically the start of our level 4 lineup, but yeah. Then we have 4 Shademon. I don't run any options in this build, so I run a lot of security Digimon. Just being able to get them out onto the field is kind of like my options. I wanted to be able to proc out a security a lot more. So hitting Shademon was nice. As you saw in the feature match, we hit Shademon and we were able to digivolve up into a Megadramon and then into a Craniamon, so it felt pretty good getting that Shademon out. Yeah, but Shademon having that blocker, he can't attack, which sucks, but he's a security Digimon, so it's nice. Mechanori card's insane. Like, you could easily get this card up to 7-8k in this deck, and it is really hard for your opponent to deal with. And then 2 Sealdramon, 1 attacking, lose 2 memory, just another blocker. It's a 5 for 6,000, so same DP as Mechanori. I just wanted to have a blocker that could attack if I needed to. When we get into the ultimates, we are running 4 Megadramon. Just that inheritable blocker is just really good. This is what you use instead of, if you're not going into your Craniamon. Craniamon usually goes on your Galgamon. But Megadramon makes it so your Alphamon and your Genkumon and even your Zords and stuff like that have blocker, which is just incredibly strong. Galgamon this card is so good. Like, that Digiburst effect is not only like a buff, but it's also protection, so your opponent can't run over it the next turn. Or you can set up to like Digivolve into, like, you can Digiburst this and then Digivolve into Craniumon, and then it gains that additional buff for the turn until the end of your opponent's next turn. So your Craniumon could be like a 16,000-17,000 that even Jessamon has a hard time getting over. Run 4 Craniumon, you know, self-explanatory. Your Digimon with blocker can't be deleted by opponent's effects. This is really good in a lot of matchups. The Agumon matchup has such a hard time with this card because its effect deletes. All its cards delete. The Gabumon matchup can't get over him, so it's really difficult for him to get over it. You can get rattle starred, so be careful on how many Digimon you are putting into the field. Running so many blockers is because they're protected by his effect. So we run 3 of him. I thought about bumping him to 4, but I like him at 3. Can't really complain. Then we have 4 Alphamon, you know, leader of the Royal Knights. Incredible security effect as well. At the end of the battle, add this card to your hand, and if the Digimon with Royal Knights or X antibody in this type is in play, up to 12 of your opponent's Digimon can't attack players for the turn. I didn't proc this off into the feature match, but I did proc it off against my buddy one time playing it. Just an incredible card, and then has that really good effect. When attacking, you may pay up to 5 memory. If you do, this Digimon gets 1,000 TP for each for the turn for each memory paid, and then end attacking 2 memory. Then we run 2 Genkumon. I actually want to up this card. This card is so freaking good. The 4 cost to Digivolve is a little high, but you delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. While your opponent has an unsuspended Digimon, this Digimon gets security attack +1. He and Alphamon are your closeouts. Card's really good, and it's like having a option in the deck when you don't need the option, and he's a body, so I chose to run 2 of him. So then we got Omnizord Defeat. So it's just security when the attacking Digimon does not battle this security Digimon, plays Digimon without paying its memory cost. It just pushes so much pressure on the board. It's 3 to Digivolve, which is absolutely fantastic with Omni X antibody. So that's why we choose to use this. And then when Digivolving, delete when your opponent's Tamer's on deletion, delete when your opponent's Digimon. So just a well-rounded card all around. This can get rid of pesky cards like Joe and Sora and Izzy and Joe, and just stuff that kind of gives your opponent too much advantage. So I definitely recommend running these in any black blocker / Royal Knight deck. Then we run 2 Omnimon Azort. When Digivolving trashes the top 3 cards of your deck, then you may play up to 2 black or purple Digimon cards that have a play cost of 8 or less from your trash without paying their memory cost. When attacking, you may return 1 level 6 Digimon card from this Digivolution's cards to the hand. Delete when your opponent's unsuspended Digimon that has a play cost of 12 or less. It's really nice to have a Digimon that seconds his removal and then also builds a board. Omnimon Zord is still such an incredibly good card. And it's terrifying when it drops out. Like, watch out for this card. On Zord, being able to build a board and kill off things is insane. And then it's at 15k, so it's not going to die to a lot of security, which is just insane. Then we run the 1 Omnimon X antibody. If this card sticks, your opponent's not winning that game, I promise you. Your Digimon with Omnimon in its name can Digivolve in this card with a hand memory cost of 3. Ignore this card's Digivolution's requirement. When attacking, delete when your opponent's Digimon with DP less or equal to this Digimon's DP. It's 15k, so it can kill literally anything in the game. Opponent's turn. When your opponent's Digimon attacks, you may trash up to 2 Digivolution cards from this card to end the attack. So if you got a fat stack and you go into an Omni X antibody, like, your opponent's not winning that game. Even if you go into like a smaller stack, they're still probably not winning this. This card is so unfair and so broken in so many ways. It makes sense that it is as hard as it is to get out. You could always just put it on a red and a blue, and that's still like a pain in the butt. But like in Omni-based decks or black and purple, like, this card is insane. So that's why we run the 1 of that. Then we'll go over our Tamers. Run 2 Taikamiya. All your black Digimon get plus 1000 DP on your opponent's turn. and then set your memory to 3. He's our memory tamer. He sets it up so our Mechanories and our Craniumons can do extra work, and they're bigger than your opponent's stuff, so they can't get through. And then we run the one Tai and Matashita. The reason we run this is because a majority of our top end has Omnimons, so we want that extra security attack. Because your opponent's still trying to build a board, they're. And then the 2 options we run is Black Memory Boost. Really cool effect. Being able to pretty much search for a Digimon for 3 memory is insane, especially if your opponent left you a 4 or if you have a timeout on the board. It can search you up your Genkumons, your Craniumons, just whatever you really need, which is absolutely incredible. Like, getting a Genkumon off of this effect when your opponent's building a board, it's just like feels so good when you drop that Genku and they just lose their board, because they're going to try and build bigger than you and wider, because that's the only way they're going to get around Craniumon and all your blockers. That's the only way I could when I was playing against this deck, so I definitely recommend running 2 to 3 Black Memory Boost. And then that gain 2 memory really does come up. You're able to set up turns where are just absolutely explosive in this deck. So guys, that is my Black Royal Knights build. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you guys checked out the future match. We are almost to that 500 sub giveaway. I think we're like 120 subs away, so tell your friends, share with your friends. So yeah guys, if you know anyone who likes TCGs, tell them to my channel, give this video a like, subscribe, and I shall see you next time. OddEYES, Lumia out.